So I've been documenting for 5 years, since October 2020, when squatter Justine Taylor, lifelong criminal and fentanyl dealer. Grizzler is a term for someone, I believe, that is a career squatter, knows how to exploit, partner with law enforcement and take over property for her fentanyl gang. So, and then she's has been sent out. She gets Mike Velarde, racist politician in Palm Beach, Florida, from where she's from. She's resided with him previously at an address over there in Florida. So he has anti-Arab, anti-Middle Eastern bias, which he got from 9/11, being a first responder at 9/11, recovering human remains in Staten Island dumps. So all the people from the wars that resulted from 9/11, the cops who veterans of Desert Storm, the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan, have bias against people who look like me. So he sends out his agent, Mike Velarde sends out Justine Taylor and others, I believe. You can see on his Facebook page. So they were more prominent before. When I started reporting, it doesn't look the way it did. So he's cleaned up a little bit to cover up. I have contacted him, let him know I know what he's doing and that I'm not Muslim. I love America. I'm a lifelong Christian. I love the armed forces. Mom's boyfriend, whose house this is, that gave this house to Mom, George Julian, and on her YouTube channel is my video I took of him, the last interview before he passed, and his contributions to this country. He was a World War II veteran. I love the armed forces. I don't like the corruption there. My video isn't anti-cop, anti-police. It's to restore the honor and dignity of the uniform and to bring out the bad apples that tarnish that record. So law enforcement partnering with Justine Taylor, a gang member, to acquire property for her gang. And then here, for 7 years, law enforcement supporting and encouraging Mom's false 911 calls, for which they took her to court 7 years ago. But they're covering that case, restricting that case, and Sergeant Lafferty came out and scolded me that day because I was inquiring to find the judge who said, I'll dismiss the case if you sell the house and move. They're discouraging all the effort Anita has put in to discourage the sale of this house because that police station supports the false 911 calls, doesn't take the reports for the false 911 calls. These are crimes. Them answering Mom's call about the neighbor is a crime they're doing knowingly, and the indication is when I make a FOIA request for just the number of 911 calls from this property last 7 years is withheld. That is a crime. I'm told it's a federal crime and has to be reported at Wilshire, the federal FBI building over there. So I will do that. I will file it, see what happens, see if the FBI will take that report. I want to know. They themselves, cops, told me there's been 120 911 calls from here just the last year. So the immense cost to the taxpayer, imagine. all the responses where they come and scold me to provoke my arrest, that is the purpose why they're supporting it, other than the profit of them coming out here, knowing that it's false. They do keep poking at the sword. They're taking my car and then having it towed, having me in handcuffs while I'm trying to make a delivery, make a living. All the efforts they've done to sabotage my work because Anita wants to prove incapable. They keep poking at the sword to provoke my arrest, and then Anita manipulated Neda, my own friends, Neda and Tanya, to make false 911 calls, to lie to Neda lied to police to have them make a wellness check so they can come in without a warrant, and discourage me having Peter's house to go to. That's one attempt to isolating me and to provoke my arrest. Officer Johnson, that was clearly there with his gang to provoke my arrest. You can see it. He comes towards the camera. He does this. He says, get that camera out of my face. The other officer threatens to arrest me. They go in that private room, my private room. They don't let me see what they're doing. They do a cluster of triggers to knowing that's the wound that I've had from the squatter we were having daily 911 calls. Her violations, they would scold me. She would call, they would scold me. They would always take her aside and refuse to enforce the restraining order. They would use it in reverse. They would support her. They would say, you shouldn't be in the yard when she's there with the dog. So, and then Anita got Tanya to make false alarm on August 17 last year. That actually had me ended up in jail. And then the text and the record conversations, the screenshots of text conversation Tanya sent me shows clearly, and Tanya's own testimony, that it's Anita's and Richard Holloway's intention to prove me incapable. Not only because I've been reporting, and it's Richard's, her brother's intention, because I reported same thing going on over there. Their dad was murdered, and Tanya didn't get any of the inheritance. The brother did. The brother who's manipulated her, brainwashed her to come frame my arrest. The threats I reported to Officer Habel in Devonshire Police Station, the intention is clearly there. It's spoken out loud. Tanya's lifelong witch, yet she came to Bible study and to all the defamation at the church to get me kicked out. So I've documented all these methods. Law enforcement working with gang member, fentanyl dealer to get property to sell drugs. Law enforcement working with abuser of power of attorney, Anita, who constantly doing embezzlement methods and what's that word? Racketeering. Everything looks perfectly legal, but it's the methods to exploit my mom's mental condition. She refuses medication for, exploit her behavior, encourage her to, even encourage mom to frame me, encourage Anita, Tanya, and Neda to frame me. The psychology of that, the narcissistic psychology to scapegoat me. And that's what it's about. They all want to scapegoat me because of the things about me. I'm Middle Eastern. I'm truth speaker, whistleblower. I speak the truth. I don't hide anything.